Welcome everybody. So, it's been a while since last time I've been on here. I missed the whole season of Diablo and I figured I'd come back in season 3. I've always been an avid Warcry Barbarian player and it's never really worked to my level, so I figured with the Sunder Charms I'd give it another try, and if you are on this video you probably want to be a crybaby too. So here's Crybaby, and I'll give you a lowdown of the gear and pros and cons and everything as soon as we get started here. So, Warcry Barbarian. We'll go into the cons first. I have, so you have the physical Sunder. The physical Sunder is great, except for the fact that Warcry does nearly no damage. Even at max level with all the stat points invested, I feel like it's not fair that it doesn't take the contributions of a might aura, for example, and it also doesn't, like, the damage is physical, but it's a spell you're casting. So at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit from any auras, even though it's a physical attack. You're not hitting anything, so you're not benefiting off of leeches of any sort. The only thing you can do is an amplify damage or something along those lines, but the Warcry is so mana hungry that you won't be able to sustain it unless you spend all your points into mana. So so you're really dependent on your Merce's damage at the end. So your Merce damage is what's going to do all the damage. Once with Might, it'll kick into about 8k. But you're not the one doing the damage. As you can see, I'll show you the gear shortly, but with my end game gear, yeah, we're at about 2.2k, which, yes, you can cast it fast, but it's not sufficient enough to, like, once you run into a physical immune, you're pretty much stuck, and you will spend probably a good 15 minutes trying to kill it, as well as boss kills. You can't really do Andy, Meth, Bale, like Diablo. They're all great. You can get there quickly and you won't die to them, but they also will take a couple minutes to down, whereas with other characters you just instantly plow it, and that's in Players 1 that I'm playing currently. So the other thing is, when you're starting with this character, you do have a rough time leveling up because it is a barbarian, so I would highly suggest doing something else to level up to this point. And I am just making this video now because I've finished pretty much this Warcry build, and it's Warcry and item find. I have not found any items, and the Warcry I'm switching out of, so I will be going Whirlwind with dual griefs shortly. But I figured I would put this video out first because I've had a run with it again. I just feel like the Warcry skill is not quite there. With all these broken mosaic builds and the Nova source, you're basically doing the same thing on this character with tele-stomping, but your damage is a fraction of what a lightning source's damage is. Yeah, I have a tough time clearing terror zones, so I mean, like, yeah, you can tele-stomp and stuff, but as soon as you run into a physical immune, once again, you're stuck. The physical immune, like, it's not, the Merce's damage isn't transferring over. I think it's still dealing with the physical immune, but your damage isn't, and 2k is just not enough to pump out damage and kill those enemies. So now there is pros to this build as well, so don't take it all as a negative. I do love the build still. I've been playing it ever since the beginning. I will continue to build this every single ladder season until they make it great again. If it was ever great before, not really. But so with the Warcry skill, you do the synergies, and they're all max. But then you also you get the big benefit of being in the Warcry tree. So if all your skillers are Warcries, your Torch, Annie, all that stuff is a Warcry. It also means you get a massive BO So battle orders, massive life increase, massive mana increase, which you need. And then item find as well is also in that same tree, so your Warcry skillers will bump that up as well. So with this, you never die, so I don't have any fear of ever dying, even when I run for a destruction key and a corpse explosion. I can handle 6-7 of those without even worrying about hitting a full rejuve, whereas my source, for example, you got halfway through a meth run and your Merc kills a doll, blows up next to you, and your character's dead. So I don't have that issue. And you can have a massive amount of magic find on the character due to it being a barb. So you have double 6-isted crystal swords are mine. You can also do phase blades if you want to be fancy, but I didn't feel the need to burn those to like burn those points in the decks. So as far as the skill tree goes, it's great because everything in the Warcry tree is bumped up. I even tried to use Grim Ward as an example, but for one, it takes away one of the corpses that you could be item finding, and secondly, it helps kill the non-elites pretty good. But as soon as it's elite with physical immune, there's no difference to the damage that it does. So your item find's huge. You can easily swap it into a gold find barb as well if you wanted to put 2 Alibabas on and slam some lems in there. That's a mistake, Darrell. Slam some lems in there, and you'll get massive gold find on your character, as well as a crown of thieves on the mercenary and all that. You'll be able to handle Travs easily. You won't die ever with this build. So the tree is just the way it is, right? So it's the max Warcry and synergies. 1-point wonders. I try to put another point in just because I needed to get it to the next percentage, but I didn't quite make it there. Then your 1-point wonders here, just your natural resist, your speed boost, iron skin, and all that, and nothing in the combat tree. So this is pretty well maxed. I could get one more Warcry Grand Charm in there, but yeah, that's about as far as you're gonna get it. So the gear is, as you guys could see before, was so dual Hotos for the main hand. I have a Shaco with a Topaz because I wanted more magic finding. Just a straight 3 Warcry. Ami, Enigma. You need Frost. That's a big thing too. You need the Frost burns because the mana, you sink your mana bar so quickly with this build. I have an SOJ, but also not just for the one skill, also for the mana. The increased mana is just huge because you run out so quickly. War Travs, Gold Wrap. I could change this to Arachnid, but I don't really feel the need to. And then on the swap, yeah, you have your Isted, so you'll have your item find swap. As far as the stats go, the strength is just to wear everything. And then most people say go all into vitality. I found that putting about 340, like get the base value up to 340, just over 300, you'll be just fine because you do need some energy as well. The mana is big, so with the torch, the Annie, and everything adding it, I still needed to add more to the base value of the energy so I could have more mana. The rest of these are all just their magic finding charms that I just found on the way. So I've mostly been farming keys. I have fought the Diablo clone, but like I said, I didn't die. My Merc came twice came close to dying, so I had to go back to town and re-heal and stuff, but it took me probably about 22 minutes to kill him with Warcry alone. It was not ideal in any way, but I'll show you some quick gameplay. It's just player 1, that's the big problem. Once you get into the higher player counts, it doesn't work anymore. Like the damage is just non-void. The telly is quick because of the Hoto, so that's good. But you'll see once I get to Andy that it's you have to manage your you have to manage it all and like watch your merce, because that's the only thing that's doing damage is the merce. You're just kind of standing there. Even with like throwing a battle cry on him, you'll see it as well. It makes no difference to the merce's damage, and like my damage is minimal as well, so it just makes it for a tough time. Item find doesn't work on bosses, but like elite packs like this, I do melt them down. But see, here's a physical immune, for example. See what I mean? Like, it's just the damage isn't there. You can weaken them, but it does nothing. So if you're not shouting, the merce's damage isn't physical immune, so he's just legitly pounding on this guy for nothing. So it's just my 2k damage is doing that, and that's just not sufficient enough to make it worth the time, right? So I have to skip most physical immunes, which is kind of... I feel like there should be a boost, even with the might or active, like the merce has now. So his damage shoots up to about 8k, but with might and everything, my damage, it goes up 100. Not even. So that 100 isn't really because of might, that's because I have the battle orders bonus, right? So here you can see, it's not a very good time. You can kill him, but I mean it takes a little while. So I can take a drink of coffee while holding my button down. You gotta watch the merce and make sure he doesn't die. Usually once I get past the A in the name, I'll switch to the two crystal swords and finish him off and see what we get. So I mean deathmatch, whatever, it's a Tall's mask again. I don't need that. So you get tier haunch from that, and now the one thing he is extremely good at, which I should have shown you first, because the problem, just a quick overview, I forgot to show you the merch, but it's just a SCV Insight with a plain Fortitude, because I'm going to be switching to that once I change into Whirlwind, and then just Andy's. So what I've been doing is the Trav is easy. The problem is you have to start with Trav, because if your mercenary procs the frozen armor or the chilling armor, it's gonna kill some of those mobs and the body's gonna disappear. So you yourself will never have any worries about dying. It's just the merce is more or less what you're managing, right? So here's another problem again. Physical immune council member, so there's nothing I can do about it because I don't have 20 minutes to stand here and wait for him to die. So Ishmael is physical immune, and as you can see, like, it does nothing. I have him weakened. I can even Grim Ward. So with Grim Ward, like, the damage just isn't there. The merce damage isn't transferring over to the physical immunity, so he's just doing nothing. And the problem is that if you can see the mana, the amount of mana that I'm expending is, so the item find's okay, but I haven't been very lucky this season at all. So, I mean, I've just switched back to making just packs for crafting, because that's the only way, that's the only stuff I can really find. But yeah, so I had to skip him because there's nothing I can do about that. But there's never any danger of me dying. It's survivability is a big thing. I really enjoy it as opposed to a sorcerer, because I don't have to worry about just dying instantly when something hits me. But like I said, it's also tough to kill stuff in this. Like, stuff dies, and this is also not really fair, because the build I'm showing you is pretty rather expensive and end game, and it's just to show you that even with the end game gear, it's super tough to make it work. And yeah, you're just draining mana, right? So these guys drain your mana as well, and it doesn't help that. Where'd he go? I need him out somewhere. So his stuff actually drops on the ground. Kill him already. But yeah, so these guys drain your mana, but that doesn't help you much because you're you're draining mana anyway. Like if you take on one mob, by the end of one mob you'll be pretty much empty. Like you can see it just going down. The only way I'm getting mana back here is because I'm getting hit. So when I get hit, I get mana back. But I mean, like, there's also been a serious problem. I know there's diminished returns on the magic finding and stuff, but so with the Istid, so I have 702 magic find, and that's what I get. Like nothing, not even a blue for that matter. So I feel like it's probably going to be better off. I'm just going to do boss farming, I think, and change it to 2 griefs and just whirlwind my way through. Because this is, it's painful. I'll speed it up a bit here. So what you can do is you can go through the, see, there's a physical immune. Like, just, it bums me out because I really want it to work. That's my problem. I absolutely love this build and I really want it to work, but as you can see, it doesn't. So yeah, I could wait for him for 30 seconds to kill that thing. Sorry, 30 minutes. But yeah, you have massive health, massive mana. Your Merce also benefits from that, so he's not dying anytime soon. But yeah, I just don't. It doesn't work. Those physical immunes are just breaking my heart more than anything. That Thunder Charm broke my heart, not their immunities. So, and I have that too in here. Like, you can't tell if some of these bosses might be physical immune or not. So there, you got a great axe off of the item find, which is, I know item finds is a great thing. It's I enjoy it, so I will be having that on the other build as well. But it's it hasn't really done much for me now. So the only thing I've been doing lately is just key farming, because I don't die ever. So I don't have to worry about the corpse explosion. I just plow through but it's getting kind of boring. I kind of want to beat some bosses and have a chance at that. See, just tell you right in the middle, no worries. Yeah, you get hit twice or 3 times, but still, you walk away from that. I don't find him. Nothing. Sorry, this video's getting a little long. I just wanted to show you a little bit of work that this put in, and that it's not a complete build, but it's just not. It's a certain kind of game style, right? And if you're thinking about getting into it, that's fine, but just be aware that the damage isn't there and the Thunder Charms don't do as much as you want them to do. Because it, like 40-something skill points into those skills, I feel like you should be a little bit better off. See, like here, we're going to be here for about 30 minutes as he beats this guy. In fact, there's physical immune, so this has been a great video. Usually they're not physical immune, but today it seems to be the day that they all are, so.
I need mana.
I just hope that in the following seasons they change it around a little bit, and I'll be doing this still, like, I'll still have all the gear. I just gotta change to, I just have to change to something else because this is not manageable. And you can sell key sets all day, but it just doesn't give me the joys of actually finding stuff. So I've just been selling junk jewels and mostly like perfect gems and stuff, because it's the only thing I can do. But you see, like, this is just, it's terrible. Like, I don't even want to waste this much time in a video, so I'm just gonna leave them. Right? So that's pretty much it. And I feel like I sound like a little bit of a Debbie Downer. Every season I'm gonna keep doing it, and every season I'm gonna keep getting to this point where I realize that it's not feasible. And they need to change it that if it's a spell, then have it benefit from some kind of spell casting or something. Or if it's a physical damage, then have it benefit from well, the physical sunder more, right? Or have damage, like have it benefit from the auras that your Merce provides you with and all that, but it doesn't. So in total, sorry to be such a Debbie Downer and everything, but yeah, that's Warcry barbs. If you still feel like playing them, feel free to ask me some questions if you want. If not, that's cool, man. It's all good. We'll talk about it later. Have a happy season 3.